I've asked you a question, and I've allowed you into my house. Because I've allowed you into my house, and you've come into my house with a hostile agenda. But then we need to change the dynamic of this interview, because I allowed you into my home.
Why does he keep saying this like it ought to carry some weight? Bruv, you're under house arrest. Oh, I invited you here. You have to be nice to me. Why does he think that he could get like a serious news organization there and that it's all going to be flowers and fairies? They're not going to come in there, stroke your hair and feed you cookies. They're going to say, hey, are these allegations true? Why did you say these things in the past? Do you worry about your influence on people? For a controversial figure facing a serious criminal investigation, you can't expect any different. This interview was wild. And to me, Tate came off like a total bitch. Like he was so poorly prepared, he just resorted to lying.
Let me read you then what you have said about what you have done. My job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, get her to fall in love with me to the point where she'd do anything I say, and then get her on webcam so we could become rich together.
I don't think that's what I personally said. I think that's
exactly what
no,
you said.
That's no, I've never said that. That's something that you found on the internet. Doesn't mean I've said it.
This is a lie. He did say it.
I'm quoting back to you your own words where you describe
They're not my words.
Coercion.
They're words you found. They're words you found on the internet.
On your
so let's move on to the
website,
next subject.
In your voice. So there's other places in that same website where you say you get girls to fall in love with you, and they do it because they love you, because they want to do what you say. Convincing women to take part in some kind of business arrangement doesn't work long term because they're emotional. You've got to get them to fall in love with you.
What you've found are clips from the internet, some text from the internet, and you're going to sit here and tell me that that's the reason I should be
your website, your words.
It's not my website.
Bruh, how does he sit there with a straight face and say that? Now, it was on his website. He called it the Pimping Hose Degree, which, I mean, that's a great name. But still, he may have done his best to scrub it off the web now, but this was well documented. People remember. I mean, surely some of his fans remember too. And even if she's wrong and those words were never there on his website, he's described this process several times on camera.
I was the pimp. So I messaged all my girlfriends. I had 5 of them. I was like, look, you're moving to London. And I was sitting there for a while thinking, how do I organize the fact that these 5 girls are coming in thinking they're my girlfriend? And I want them all to do this job.
Because at the beginning, she will need you, but then she won't need you. But you have to keep that fallacy, keep that dream alive. Important. I'm telling you, it's a very important element, that control.
You can't say those words didn't come from you or they never existed. Like, it's just verifiably untrue.
The reason I'm being attacked is because of my massive influence, not because I've ever hurt anybody. It's the fact that I'm massively influential over the youth, and I understand that. But it's my influence as a whole which people are afraid of, not necessarily the things I say.
But what is this cope? There are other people with influence. Mr. Beast has massive influence. But he's not getting attacked like this. You're getting attacked because people don't like the things you say. And also because you may have done some crimes. Now you can fight those narratives, but it's absolutely to do with the words you say and the things you've done. It's not just the fact that you're famous. That doesn't matter. So after that disaster of an interview, he comes out with this pathetic crying statement, chastising the BBC.
So when I sit across from a reporter who says that having a nice car makes you a misogynist,
it's disingenuous.
Use
and also,
that image
also
of financial success
correct.
with a Bugatti and a cigar, but it comes with a side order of misogyny.
How does having a Bugatti and a cigar come with misogyny?
Because it's all mixed together in what you teach.
I find that to be extremely dangerous rhetoric. I find that to be extremist rhetoric. And I think it's very dangerous for young men to think if they work hard for something in their lives, if they dedicate themselves and they're diligent and hardworking and they try hard, that they'll be a bad person.
I think Andrew might actually be cognitively impaired. She's not saying having a Bugatti and a cigar makes you misogynist. She's saying you flash that wealth, and as a side order, which means a separate extra thing, you sprinkle misogyny around. That's her claim. She's not saying that having nice things or working hard to achieve nice things makes you a bad person. She's trying to describe the process through which you draw people in through your flashy image, the expensive cars and stuff. And then once people are drawn into that, they start hearing your hateful messages about women. Now, you might disagree with that analysis, that's fine, but make your case and contend with what she's actually saying.
I hate the idea of a world where a man who dedicates himself to excellence so he can enjoy the finer things in life is criticized and ostracized and called horrible names purely because he's been a hardworking male.
There's no way anyone believes this. Nobody thinks if you're just a hardworking male, you're going to be criticized and ostracized. It just doesn't happen.
And they're only going to hear these extremist ideas if they watch the BBC, which is an extremist organization. And they're only going to watch the BBC if I talk to the BBC. So I feel like now that these people have proved themselves to be extremist and very damaging to the minds of young men, I have an obligation to not interact with them very much, because I don't want them spreading their extremist propaganda.
You absolute snowflake. You veiny beetroot of a snowflake. Be real. You're not refusing to interview with legacy media again to protect young men. You're doing it to protect yourself because they gave you a beatdown and you look like an idiot. I kept thinking, why the hell would he do this interview? Surely all his advisors would have told him not to. Especially with the ongoing investigation, you don't want to incriminate yourself. I think it's purely because he cares a lot about what his fanboys think of him. I mean, to them, he does hit all the right notes. The media's fake. This is the Matrix. Look how confrontational they are. Those who worship him will eat this up. up. But bro, they don't matter right now. You got worse things to worry about. You know, let the investigation pass, then talk your shit, then go off, queen. Unless you're not confident of coming out of it unscathed. And this was like a last-ditch Hail Mary attempt to bolster your public standing. That's what this interview felt like to me. Not someone who cared about the truth or about protecting people or helping people. This was an ego-driven move by a guy scrambling to get the public perception back on his side.